special guest in the studio. And he's never been on the show before, but I'm very, very excited to have him in. He is a martial artist, officially certified by the World Taekwondo Federation as a 7th degree black belt, and one of the few worldwide to get the internationally recognized diploma, which I don't know how to say it, so I'm going to let him say it. Grandmaster Andre Alex Lima is with us. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me in the show. And the name is Kukiwon. That's the headquarters of the World Taekwondo Federation in Korea. So that's the name.
But you are actually an international figure in the world of Taekwondo.
Yes, I've been doing Taekwondo for 35 years.
Wow.
And I've been all over the world, especially in Europe. I lived 2 years in Europe. I'm Brazilian. I was born in Brazil. And I've been in Asia. I've been in the US for 20 some years.
Why Taekwondo? Why did it catch your attention? I mean, you're Brazilian, and we know, I guess the most famous Brazilians for grappling and for capoeira.
Yes, I like the kicking part. I like kicks. Kicks is very beautiful. In movies you see spinning kicks, jump kicks. That's what got my attention when I was a kid, the kicking part. I know Brazil is famous for Jiu-Jitsu, which I'm a master too, but I always liked the Taekwondo kicking and the style of Taekwondo.
We have to put up, if we can, a picture of Master Lima kicking on a Facebook and on my website, so you can see he's not just talking about your regular kicking, he's talking about kicking. So, and speaking of kicking, a lot of people are getting caught up in this kicking, butt kicking mentality because of UFC. It's, the Ultimate Fighting Championship is kind of almost taken over boxing now. I'm a boxing person. I like traditional boxing and martial arts, but everyone loves UFC. What's your take on that?
Well, UFC is exactly 20 years old. It started in 1993. It was import from Brazil. The real name is Vale Tudo in Portuguese.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, and in Brazil it was owned for almost 100 years, and the Gracie family brought to the United States in 1993. They had the first one. For the first 10 years was not prime time. But in the past 10 years, it became very popular in the US because it's on TV. It is very controversial. A lot of people love the UFC because it is violent, because of the knockouts.
Yeah, you see teeth flying and blood, drama.
And for the same reason, the knockouts and the blood, people don't like. So make it controversial. But it is popular all over the world. Yes, it's more popular than boxing now. It is in TV in South America, Europe, everywhere. The fighters are like superstars now, most of them, the ones who keep winning the fights. It is very demanding to the body, very, very hard. So that's the idea of the UFC, to make something spectacular and violent because the people like to watch that.
Tell me again the real name of it.
Vale Tudo.
Vale
Tudo means everything goes in Portuguese, and the UFC it was started in Brazil.
Leave it to the United States to find a way to market something. We call it UFC. It's like Afro-Cuban music. We call it salsa. So now it's become very popular. Do you think it uplifts martial arts or degrades martial arts because it's kind of all lumped together into one big mishmash of everyone just thinks they're pounding people, when really there's all these different arts that are being used?
The UFC, it is the way martial arts accidentally found to compete with basketball, with football, and with boxing.
So it puts martial arts on the world stage, is what you're saying?
Yes, it become prime time, even though has the bad side that shows more the violence, but all of those fighters, they are basically masters of different arts, and they are trained to be there to fight. And we have maybe a small percentage of injury compared with football. So it is actually safer than not a lot, but some other sports, because the guy who steps in the cage he is really prepared to fight. He's been training, for
You better
many.
be, yeah. Otherwise you're going down quick. But you do think that by gaining the world stage and gaining the superstar status, the martial arts loses its soul or loses its respectability, or no? You think it just makes it more popular?
He loses a little bit. Every time in one of the martial arts or the UFC becomes very much a sport, he loses a little bit of the educational side, because when you see the UFC, it is basically a competition, and there is people that comes and give very good interviews as a role model for the kids, but there is other guys that goes there and say a whole bunch of things they shouldn't say just to promote a fight, and kids see that. So it has the good side of it, but also has a bad side, because he's selling martial arts, he's selling only the violent side of it.
Alex Lima, he is a grandmaster in the art of Taekwondo. You have teenage black belts and adult black belts.
Yes. Martial arts is very educational, especially for the kids.
Yeah.
They learn how to, how to fight, to defend themselves, but also we always try to follow up how they do in school, how they do with the parents. The educational side is very important for martial arts, is because you're giving the kids a little weapon how to defend themselves. We want to make sure they use it in the right way, and we have also opportunity to help with the education of a lot of these kids, because we see them on daily basis. Sometimes they stay for years and years, and it's a good tool to help personal growth.
I know a lot of moms that have their children in martial arts because it helps them learn how to focus, concentrate, sit still, and respect people, notably adults, which seems to translate over to teachers as well.
Yes, I mean, people look for martial arts for different reasons, like you said. There's people that want more the fitness side, other people want to have their kids focus and concentrating better, and we do that because in a classroom of martial arts, everything you do is basically physical when you are doing the training, and you cannot stop or look to the side or maybe don't do anything, which may happen in school when you're sitting on your chair in the back of the room. The teachers sometimes don't know, you may be looking at something or thinking about something else. In martial arts, no. You have to have full attention, focus in the class, because at any minute you're going to be called in front to perform a movement, and all the time you are in action, moving, so you have to be really concentrated on the class. And we also have the competition group, the ones who like to practice very hard and compete and push to the limit.
I think it's part of Taekwondo, if I'm not mistaken, but you focus a lot on flexibility. You do a lot of stretching.
Yes.
Why is that important for physical fitness, and why is it important for Taekwondo?
Flexibility is important because in Taekwondo you do a lot of kicking, and you want to be able to kick high to somebody's head if necessary. So we practice a lot of flexibility, and also flexibility is good, especially when you're around 30 years old up. Sometimes people start losing flexibility, and with the practice of martial arts we are able to keep good flexibility and develop. People that have problems sometimes, their bodies are not very flexible. With time and training, we develop the flexibility. It's very natural for the training because you're all the time kicking up high, and you're on the floor doing stretching and flexibility movements. So it's normal that, eventually you're gonna get a lot more flexible.
Talking with Grandmaster Andre Alex Lima, this flexibility, do you think that's one of the reasons why a lot of those UFC fighters are not getting injured? I mean, it seems like that combination of strength and flexibility would prevent some of the injuries that we see in other sports.
Yes, good flexibility will give you a better range of motion. So when you do a movement, you're probably going to be free of getting hurt. People that has a little problem with flexibility sometimes try to do a movement too fast or try to do something a little bit higher than normal. They sometimes pull muscle. So flexibility and conditioning, it is the reason of, you know, the UFC guys, they normally, like I told you before, they get minor bruises, but they don't really get serious injury like sometimes other sports do.
And it's, I mean, it's pretty amazing what the human body can do, but I guess that's the reason why now in more sports like football and basketball, we're seeing guys taking yoga and starting to do ballet and other things so they can have not just strength but flexibility also.
Yes, flexibility also gives you a better range when you are a little bit older, when you're 40, 50s. If you develop a good flexibility early, you will be able to do the martial arts movements easier when you are a little bit older, besides helping everything else in life. But flexibility is a very important part of martial arts and sports in general.
Even just getting your pants on, you're going to need a certain amount of flexibility as you get older. Working out really does help process that, doesn't it? I mean, this is Wellness Wednesday. This is what we do on Wednesdays, and I'm always trying to get people up off the couch, even if it's just to walk around the block. But martial arts is one way of getting it.
Yes, martial arts for a lot of people, including me, it's a therapy. When you practice, you go away from the stress of daily life. So besides you work out, besides you learning how to defend yourself, besides you learning a new skill, it is therapy. It is excellent, you know, to face life, because sometimes you work, you don't have time to work out. And then martial arts is a very interesting way of working out, because we normally have a rank system in martial arts. You start as a white belt, moving up to the yellow belt, going to the orange belt, and up to the black belt. So that catches people's attention. It's not only like going to the gym, lifting weights. You are learning a new skill. You are learning all the white belt stuff, the punch, the kicks of that belt. When you move up to the next belt, you learn a whole new set of techniques, and that keeps you very interesting in learning the art. It is basically like the military. You move up the range.